My name is Matthew Lay, and I'm the president and co-founder of the Streaming Network, and I'll be your host on today's edition of the Webinar Academy, focused on taking the complexity out of studio video. The Streaming Network is a full-service webcast and virtual event delivery company with over 10,000 projects under our belt. We've made it a practice to help customers move from the audio webinar to video webinar format. So much so that this year we built a studio to do just that. On today's webinar, we are going to be making the case for studio video. We're going to help you select a studio or production partner. We're going to get you to start thinking about your video webinar like it's a show. And we're going to give you some practical tips for getting the most out of your studio production. Now, let's get on with the show. I'm joined on the Webinar Academy desk by Streaming Network Director of Sales, Brian Squire. Brian, thanks for joining us today.
Happy to be here.
I want to get started with a question that I get asked a lot. I know you do. I got it just the other week in a boardroom. Matt, if we're going to do a video webinar, can we just shoot it in our boardroom? What do you generally say to that?
You know what, it's a good question. We get it all the time. And you know, truth be told, we've seen a lot of good and we've seen a lot of bad.
We've seen some ugly too.
We've seen some ugly too. And we've done a lot of productions from client location and boardrooms, and we've done a lot of studio productions.
Right.
I think really the resounding difference is, at the end of the day, the studio environment is a controlled environment. Whether you're referencing grid lighting, high quality audio, all of the technical being at arm's length right there. It's a big comfort and it's a big safety net for clients. You can walk in, you can focus on your content and output the best product.
I mean, this studio is built for video production, where your meeting room is built for having meetings. I wouldn't recommend they use this when their boardrooms are booked up, just like the boardroom isn't as accessible. There are some problems with boardrooms, though, as well. Some things that need to be thought about before you go in, right? Can you talk to me about some of those?
Yeah, I mean, well, first and foremost, I mean, the big obvious one is just boardroom availability.
Right.
I mean, everywhere we go, we talk to people about the hot commodity that is the boardroom.
Right.
But there are more functional limitations to boardroom setups. I mean, at the end of the day, a boardroom is a boardroom. It's four walls, boardroom table. There's very limited things that you can do in regards to staging and set to make that a comfortable environment for your presenters. It's also not optimized for, of course, doing a production. Ceilings are not high, so lights can be hot, it can be warm, your AC is not optimized. So it's just not the optimal environment to be doing a video production.